Hello fellow poolsiders, Maximus here with a Clearpool update, and I actually meant to post this a few days ago, but I got occupied with some real life circumstances in which occupied all my free time to devote towards making a video, unfortunately. So with that said, Clearpool, updated documentation, Gitbook has been updated, and so like you see right here, the Clearpool team has updated the Gitbook, and it does state that the interest rate model and utilization ratio is a key highlight that they want to put a little emphasis on, as well as the pool default mechanism details, credit risk scoring, and permission pools. And when you go here to click on this link, this will come up, and it's very well detailed. I won't cover every single area because, like I always said in the past, by all means, do your own research. It's good for you to do that, especially with projects like this. You want to do that. So I know in my last video in regards to Clearpool, it states what is Clearpool building, but I also like it when they come up with a new summary to make it a little bit more easier to understand, and this one definitely grabbed my attention. So it says, what is Clearpool? Clearpool is a decentralized marketplace for unsecured institutional capital. It allows institutions to borrow funds from a decentralized network of lenders without the need for collateral. That is crucial because me, for instance, years ago, I used to be a loan officer for a couple of years, and that was always a big thing, the need for collateral. And I always felt as though what's nice about the Clearpool project is these little things. You know, they're able to separate themselves from the pack. They are a very unique project. And so when I see things like this where it says that, you know, it allows institutions to borrow funds from a decentralized network of lenders without the need for collateral, that just speaks volumes to the Clearpool project. It says on top of that, Clearpool whitelisted institutional borrowers can create and launch individual single borrow liquidity pools. Lenders can earn attractive risk-adjusted rates of interest for supplying liquidity to a borrower pool. Anybody can be a lender, and yields are enhanced with additional CPOOL rewarding, making Clearpool one of the most attractive venues for DeFi lenders. And with that said, cannot put more emphasis on this. I can't pound it home enough. The mainnet isn't out yet. I know you see a lot of negative things like, you know, the price being down and so on. You know what? If you're really into investing, again, not investment advice, but if you yourself are invested into Clearpool, if it was me, I would be increasing my position. I would be looking at these days as in, hey, you know what? I'm going to see this lower than this. I get it. You know, we've been saying this for a few weeks, but that's just the way I personally feel about it. Again, not financial advice, but I do try to put you guys in the personal place that I'm in. So when you go further into it, you know, you have a section like how it works for borrowers, for lenders, the protocol, staking and farming. I'm actually going to click on this part right here, staking and farming. And for instance, it says details on CPOOL's staking farming mechanism will be released soon. The thing that definitely stands out for me personally is the farming. You know, many of us, of course, as retail investors, we are into Clearpool for the staking, whether it's KuCoin, Ascendex, and so on. However, the farming mechanism is a very appealing thing, especially if you're the type of person in which you've done any farming. For instance, let's say, you know, you use the crypto.com app, for instance. You may very well have done VVS Finance. I myself use VVS Finance, and you know, the farming and staking mechanisms on that platform is very appealing. So it says this will be released soon. As soon as I get the info in regards to that, I'll be more than glad to share that with you guys. I actually want to see this next section which says credit risk scoring. And it does state that Clearpool has partnered with XMargin to provide real-time privacy preserving portfolio risk metrics for lenders and a credit evaluation methodology for trading firms. Find out more about the credit evaluation methodology here. Methodology here by going to this link. if that's something that you're into. Now, in regards to more of this, if you click, for instance, on about, you can hear more about what Clearpool is all about. Like it mentions here, Clearpool was built to address the growing demand for unsecured liquidity in the DeFi market. It also, states all this, which a lot of us already know about this. But what I was going to show you guys is I actually thought this was really cool. It's an updated roadmap for the Clearpool project. So, for instance, Q1 2022, of course, most of us already know that the Clearpool version 1.0 mainnet launch for Ethereum is going to be dropping soon. No exact tentative date. I know I get asked that quite often. When's the exact date? I'm actually glad the Clearpool team doesn't release an exact date on that. Perfect example, take the Saitama team. They have released exact dates, and as a result, those dates a lot of times get delayed, and you get a lot of people who get upset about that. By having a tentative date, or just like, saying Q1 2022, there's a lot less letdown, if you will, and it gives them a lot more wiggle room, just in case they don't hit their targeted date on an exact date, for instance. And of course, you have the CPOOL staking and farming. Again, we want to see what's going on with the farming. We do know about the staking, but they're also going to have updates in regards to what they plan for the future in staking post mainnet. All right, so Q2 2022. Sorry for the pause. It says Clearpool version 1.0 mainnet launch on Polygon. If you're not familiar with Polygon, you really need to get familiar with it, in my opinion. Polygon's amazing. I mean, it's just super fast, a lot more efficient than Ethereum. Just a great thing to see that Clearpool is going to be expanding upon with their mainnet launch. I love seeing that, because that tells me they are fully aware of the concern of, Ethereum layer 1. I get it, the Ethereum layer 2 is going to be coming out later this year. And again, with Ethereum, there's no exact, tentative date on the layer 2 launch. It's just, from what I've heard, it's going to be sometime late 2022. And then on top of that, I wasn't even aware of this. Clearpool NFT's official launch. Had no idea. That's pretty cool to see that Clearpool's going to be getting into NFTs. And of course, like they highlighted the permission pools official launch, CPOOL staking and farming, like we already mentioned, thematic pools, which are going to be in development, decentralized derivatives, which will be in development, and then of course Q3 2022, the thematic pools official launch, the decentralized derivatives, which is either going to be in development or actually have a launch, and last but not least, the enhanced interest rate curves, which would be in development. And of course, you want to learn more about the team, as usual, Rob Alcorn, CFA CEO, the rest of the team, and so on, all there. Heck, if you're even interested in applying to them, you can. Who knows, I might even do that at some point. And just a little bit more, like, if you're familiar with DAOs, they have just everything you could think of, all listed right here. So I really was impressed to see this updated for those who are concerned about that. But the main focus for me definitely was just seeing that, there was going to be some update in the future in regards to the farming, and of course an updated roadmap. So next, I did see this, and of course was posted on March 9th. I do apologize for not getting to you guys quicker. Again, sometimes unforeseen circumstances happen in real life, and basically that's what happened to me. But nonetheless, it says, what are permission pools on Clearpool? And I wanted to actually just take a little bit of time to show this, because some people have asked about this and so on. So for instance, it says that the permission pools on Clearpool states that for borrowers who prefer to onboard lenders directly, Clearpool offers customizable permission pools. Permission pools have a fixed duration, fixed interest rate, and fixed CPOOL reward structure. So, like recently, one of my friends pointed out that, was it the crypto.com app, the staking for, was it, stable coin USDT, dropped from 14% then to 12%, and it was at 14% for like over a year, and then now it's at like, or a few weeks ago it was at 12%, and now it's down to 10%. It's like, well, why is that? And it's nice to see, fixed interest rates. If you're, bought a home, for instance, 30-year fixed loan, you want to get more into things that are at a fixed rate, right, compared to ones that are adjusted. And it goes on to also mention, it says, in regards to liquidity, it says liquidity is locked for the duration of the pool and interest accrues on a monthly basis. Lenders interested in permission pools must request access and undergo an onboarding process, which is understandable, typically including KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer, and AML checks. If you don't know what AML is, it means anti-money laundering. So it's good that, they're into these type of things, because this is part of the due diligence, correspondence, and so on. You definitely want to see a big project like Clearpool have these type of mechanisms or things in place to protect not only lenders, but the retail investors, etc., etc. So it says typically including KYC and AML checks in accordance with borrowers' requirements. Then last, it says, for more information, please contact bd@clearpool.finance. Clearpool is currently in discussions with several large financial institutions about opening permission pools. So, when you see this right here where it says Clearpool is currently in discussions with several, not a few, several large financial institutions about opening permission pools, that just shows, things that we really want to hear about and see. This is not just a project that's laying dormant and not doing anything. You got a lot going on. You can't blame price action of the current token for Clearpool, which is CPOOL, going down because there's just nothing going on Clearpool. There's a lot going on Clearpool. Can't pound it home enough that the overall crypto market has been something that has been very unstable the last few days and weeks, mainly because of what's going on in the world, Russian-Ukraine war, crypto regulation, so on and so forth. Yeah, we have some days that are green, but we have a lot of days that are red. Again, for me personally, it's just buying opportunities. And that's how I really truly feel about it. Some people may not agree with that, and I get it. I just, from my experience in crypto, which dates back to 2016 with Bitcoin, and then heavily invested into crypto from January 2021 to present. I don't have the experience compared to like other people, but basically my own background, made a little over 120K last year in crypto. I have been able to have enough experience to see how you can weather storms in crypto and how to react to it. And basically, I get it. A lot of people come into something like, for instance, Clearpool, and maybe Clearpool and some other projects, maybe the first projects you ever got into, and you see that price of where you first came in and it's significantly dropped since then, and you wonder what's going on with the project. You really got to recognize and take a step back, for instance, and view the graph, if you will. View what's really going on. Is it really Clearpool that is it really their fault about what is all going on, or is it just, for the most part, the overall crypto market falling because of unforeseen circumstances? So that's honestly the way I look at it in regards to that. And again, you always got to do your own research. You got to look into it for yourself. You can't take everything I say as the end all be all. And I wouldn't do that with any project I got into. I follow top influencers as well, just like anybody else, but at the same time, I do always try to do my own research in regards to projects, whether it's doing my own private self audit or looking into like CertiK audits, or seeing for instance, if it's an Ethereum project, if the liquidity is locked up properly, and so on. So one more thing, we are taking a look at the price action, and this is the lowest I've ever seen it. And again, for me personally, this is buying opportunities. I actually said, if it drops a little bit more, I will definitely load up a lot more. I get it, everything looks really, really low, but in reality, I mean, when I first came into being appealed, found Clearpool to be very appealing is when I came in right here at the end of October with the CMC listing, and I just saw it, like roughly around that 40 cent mark, and it just quickly just blew up big time that month of November especially, and then it went up to a little over 239. I think all-time highs was slightly above that just for a little bit. Yeah, 257. I mean, there probably was only for a few minutes or an hour or something. But, for much of the rest of November, right, it was well over $1. And then you got into December and, still partly like over $1 for a while. And of course there's, drop, but there's been a lot of things that caused that. Like I mentioned, the big crash in January and so on. Anyway, to leave you guys with some food for thought for those who may be on the fence of selling your position, or those who are on the fence of like you're thinking maybe loading up your bags more. Again, you got to do what's best for you. I get it. For me personally, I will never sell for a loss. And again, this could be a project in which it goes as low as a penny. I still believe in the project. This is, again, the first video I've ever done for crypto was for Clearpool, and the reason for it was I felt as though that this project was very unique, and I still believe that, and I felt as though it was one that didn't get enough coverage but had huge potential, and I believe that 100%. And with that said, I'm not trying to twist anybody's arm. I don't work for Clearpool. They don't pay me any money or anything like that. I still feel as though this is a real sleeper project, and once things get back to normal, right, you'll see projects, not just Clearpool, but a lot of them. Like me, I'm into like 31 other projects, or 31 if you count Clearpool, and it's like, I got into those other projects not because I wanted to sell for a loss, of course not, but because I did my own research and with full conviction believed that these were good projects. And of course, Clearpool was one that really stood out, and it definitely still stands out. And again, I'm going to continue to do videos covering the project when I feel like it needs to be covered. As you guys know, I don't necessarily do a Clearpool video every day, but nonetheless, when I see things that stand out, for instance, like what you saw with the updated documentation, Gitbook, and so on, I'll do that. I get it. For some people, they might be like, well, this is boring, whatever. You know what? The way I look at it is, if you're into a project, you want to know about all these things, and whether it's exciting or not exciting and so on. My attitude is, this was very well laid out, to the point, and I wanted to cover it. So last but not least, everybody, I hope you found value to this video. It's not necessarily like my other video where it's splashing the FUD. It just maybe a little bit of that, but nonetheless, thank you for watching today's video on Clearpool. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're not currently. And last but not least, may you all have a blessed day. I mean that with all my heart. And we'll see you on the next one.